Your brain said yes before you did. Most of the daily decisions you think you reasoned your way into were triggered somewhere underneath reason, and then your mind wrote the explanation afterward to make it feel like a choice. That's not a flaw. It's a set of shortcuts that are usually right, which is exactly why they can be borrowed against. Waiters, salespeople, recruiters, coworkers, dating apps, they all run the same 6 plays on you, every single day. Here are all 6, with the study that proved each one and the exact tell that lets you catch it mid-move. The last one is the strongest, because it's the one hiding in plain sight on menus and in open houses, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Number 1. The foot in the door. In 1966, 2 researchers named Friedman and Fraser went door to door and asked homeowners to put a small sign in their window about safe driving. Almost everyone said yes, it was tiny. Weeks later, a different person asked those same homeowners to put a huge, ugly, drive carefully billboard on their front lawn. The people who'd agreed to the little sign said yes to the billboard 4 times as often as everyone else. The mechanism is self-image. Once you do a small thing, your brain quietly updates the story of who you are. I'm the kind of person who helps with this. And then it fights to stay consistent with that story. The tell is the favor that's suspiciously easy. When someone opens with a request so small it would feel rude to refuse, they're not asking for that. They're installing the version of you that says yes to the next one. Number 2, the anchor. Tversky and Kahneman sat people in front of a rigged wheel of fortune that only ever landed on 10 or 65. They spun it, then asked a question that had nothing to do with the wheel. What percentage of African countries are in the United Nations? People who saw 65 guessed far higher than people who saw 10. A number they knew was random, still dragged their answer toward it. That's anchoring. The first figure you hear becomes the invisible center of gravity for every judgment after it, even when you know it's meaningless. It's why the sticker price is always higher than what they'll take, why the salary range starts where it starts, why the menu has one absurd $40 dish. The tell is simple. Whoever says a number first is setting the frame. The catch is to name your own number before you hear theirs. Decide what fair looks like in advance, so you're not being tuned to their dial. Number 3. Reciprocity. The waiter brings a mint with your check, and your tip goes up. Bring 2 mints and pause, like it's a personal decision just for you, and the tip climbs even higher. That's real data researchers gathered in actual restaurants. The mint costs a cent. It buys dollars. The reason is that reciprocity is one of the oldest rules the human brain runs. Someone gives you something, and you feel the debt before you've even decided whether you wanted the gift. It's automatic, and it doesn't check the size of the favor against the size of the return. That's why the free sample, the free trial, the let me just throw this in for you, exists. The tell is unsolicited generosity that arrives right before a request. A gift you didn't ask for is often an invoice you haven't read yet. You're allowed to accept the mint and still say no. Number 4, social proof. A hotel wants you to reuse your towel, so it puts a card in the bathroom. When the card says, "Help save the environment," people mostly ignore it. When it says, 75% of guests in this room reuse their towels, reuse jumps. Same ask. The only thing that changed was the crowd. This runs on an ancient safety instinct. If everyone's doing it, it's probably safe, and copying the group is cheaper than figuring it out yourself. Solomon Asch showed how far it goes. People will look at 2 lines of obviously different length and call them equal, out loud, just because a room full of strangers said so first. The tell for the manipulated version is vagueness. Everyone's switching to this, our most popular plan. People love it. Real social proof has names and numbers. When the crowd is invoked but never specified, the crowd is a prop. Number 5, scarcity. Only 2 left in stock. The countdown timer ticking down next to the checkout button. The event that's almost sold out. Suddenly, the thing you were mildly considering feels like something you're about to lose. That word, lose, is the whole trick. Loss aversion means the pain of losing something is roughly twice as strong as the pleasure of gaining the same thing. So the move isn't to make you want the product more, it's to reframe not buying as a loss, because a loss lights up your brain far brighter than a gain ever could. The tell is urgency you didn't create. If the pressure to decide right now is coming from them and not from your actual life, that pressure is the product. Real scarcity doesn't need a blinking timer. Manufactured scarcity can't survive without one. Number 6, the strongest one, the contrast principle. This is the one you'll catch tomorrow. A realtor doesn't show you the house they want to sell you first. They show you an overpriced, rundown place first. And then the real target looks like a bargain by comparison, even if it's still more than you meant to spend. The first house was never for sale to you, it was a lens. Your brain almost never judges a number on its own. It judges it against whatever it just saw. Show someone a $40 bottle of wine and the 25 looks reasonable. Put the 25 on the list alone and it looks expensive. Menus are built this way on purpose. Car dealers sell you the $2,000 warranty right after the $30,000 car when $2,000 feels like rounding error. The tell is any expensive thing shown right before the thing they actually want you to buy. Ask yourself one question. Would this price look the same if I'd seen it first, cold, with nothing beside it? So there's the pattern under all 6. Foot in the door borrows your need to stay consistent. The anchor borrows your first impression. Reciprocity borrows your sense of fairness. Social proof borrows your trust in the group. Scarcity borrows your fear of loss. Contrast borrows your last comparison. Every one of them is a shortcut that's right most of the time. That's why it's there, and that's why it works. Catching them isn't cynicism, and it isn't deciding the world is out to get you. It's just slowing the moment down by a few seconds, long enough for reason to actually show up before your mouth says yes. You can't delete these shortcuts. But the second you can name the one being used, it stops being invisible, and a trick you can see is just an offer you're free to refuse.